Do y'all want unity or division? Do you want love or gossip? In a lot of communities nowadays, unfortunately, there's heavy spiritual warfare going on. And spiritual warfare is so sneaky because it creeps in slowly, insidiously, and you don't even realize it. The enemy's plan is to steal, kill, and destroy. And it's usually done by division. And gossip spreads like wildfire. That's a great way to divide people. People choose sides, and it's usually not based on any truth. And Proverbs 16:28 says, a perverse person spreads conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. I don't know about you, but I've seen it happen over and over again the past few months in so many different communities. And everybody is saying the same thing. That everybody's like, oh, I'm so tired of this. Why is everybody acting crazy? Why is everybody gossiping? But then gossip keeps spreading. And it's like, what is the answer? How do you defeat an invisible enemy? You do that through love, through education and unity. So at first, I was trying to help people. I thought I was trying to help people. When I would hear rumors about people, I would try and go to the source and get the true story and then try and clear their name. But then I realized, because I like truth, I like clarity, I don't like separation. Then I realized eventually God showed to me that that's also part of the problem, because then you're feeding more oxygen into the fire. Words are basically air, it's oxygen, and you're feeding more oxygen to the flame, and the flame needs oxygen to get bigger. And then people started coming to me and then telling me more and more gossip, because they know that I get to the bottom of things and know that I always speak the truth. And then now I'm constantly getting people asking me stuff, and it's just like, oh, it's so exhausting, it's so draining, and I don't get it. If you have a problem with someone, you should talk to them directly. You should talk to them directly. Don't ask your neighbor, your friend, your community. Don't vent to them. Go to the person and talk to them directly. It's as simple as that. And one thing is, a lot of times, most of the time, people gossip and they don't realize that they're doing it. There are some people, and you know those kind. There are some people who gossip because it gives them a sense of purpose. They are deeply insecure, and they're like the feeling of power. They like controlling the narrative. They like to be the one that knows everything. They're the kind of people that's like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I know so-and-so, I travel to this, I'm a shaman, or I have this friend that's a shaman, or my blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all that bullshit. Those are the exceptions to the rule. Those are the ones that are just they have toxic behaviors. I'm not going to call them toxic, because we're all human and we all make mistakes. But those behaviors are incredibly toxic. And most people, though, get caught up in what they're saying because they sound so like they know what they're talking about. They sound authoritative. They sound like they, know what's happening. And they make everything seem so damn dramatic when it's not. So a lot of times what will happen is, let's say somebody comes up to you and they're like, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? Or did you hear about this? Or whatever. And a friend of mine recently taught me some ways that she handles this and shuts it down. And I absolutely love this. So I want to share with you guys so you can learn how to diffuse gossip and become a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So if somebody's like, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? You can say, no, I didn't, and I don't want to hear about it. Simple as that. Or you can say, I'm not interested in hearing about it. One of my friends recently, she stood up for me. She was like, no, that's my friend, and I don't appreciate you talking about her like that, and you don't know the whole story. But then she doesn't proceed to tell the rest of the story, because if you continue to tell the story, then it's feeding into more and feeding into more. Basically, you want instead of defending yourself when these things happen, resist that urge and let your integrity and your actions speak for itself, and your energy, your integrity, your actions, your morals, your values, that'll speak for itself. You don't have to defend yourself when every single thing comes up. Because just like that, people who know you for you will stand up for you. You can tell them that you don't know the whole story, or you can say, well, that's not my experience with that person, and I'd like to experience them for myself. And that way it shuts down if they're trying to say, oh, well, you should know this about them, or you should know that, or I don't trust them because they did this. I don't trust them that I had this experience. You can shut it down and be like, that's your experience with them. I don't want to hear about it. I want to experience them for myself. You can also tell the person, if you have an issue with that person, then you should take it up with them directly. That's really a really good one, because people just, it really gets to the root of it. Or you can even ask them, do you want to talk about it with them? Because that way you're getting to the point of, hey, this is an issue with you and them. I really don't need to be involved in this. Like, if you want to talk about it and then you're going to get a yes or no answer. If they say no, then you know right then and there, they're just gossiping to gossip, and they're not really trying to solve the problem. If they say yes, then you can say, well, if you don't know what to say to them, I can help you figure out what you want to say. Or even direct them to ChatGPT, honestly. That's what I do a lot nowadays. If I don't know what to say to somebody, I kind of turn to ChatGPT and get some advice from there. Let's see. Some people gossip because it's a way of catching up. Like, it's a way to bond with people. You see somebody and you're like, oh, so what's going on in your life? Let's catch up, blah, blah, blah. And you start talking about what's going on in your life, but then it goes to friends or whatever. But instead of doing that, you can bond with people over other things. You can talk about hobbies, your hobbies, their hobbies. If you don't have any current things that you're doing, things that you want to try, like, hey, have you ever been surfing, or have you ever been skydiving? Like, just things like that. Talk about real things. Like, you can talk about philosophy or ideas. You can talk about travel, places you've been to in the past. Ask them where they've been to. Ask them where they want to go. Even if you haven't traveled very far, you can talk about places you want to travel. And that can open up a million other things. Like, you can end up talking about past lives, one of my favorite subjects. Anyway, you can talk about stuff that you've learned recently, or things that you want to learn. Like, God, the world is such a fucking amazing place. There's so much to learn. And no matter how much you learn, there's always so much more to learn. So you can always share your wisdom with people, or share the things that you're wanting to learn. Maybe there's like a new language you want to learn, or you want to know more about a certain topic. Maybe this person knows about that topic and they can help teach you about it. Like, actually, one of my friends used to teach Hebrew to people, and I love that. I want to learn, because that's like ancient scriptures and ancient stuff fascinates me. So I want to learn it. So it's really cool. You can find out things like that about people. You can talk about music or books or movies. You can even talk about sports. It's not really something I'm into, but like, you can always talk to people about that stuff and see what they're into. You don't have to talk about other people. And I really hate it when people do it, like, they act like it's concerned. Like, in church circles, this happens all the time. They'll be like, oh, we got to pray for so-and-so because they're going through blah, 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 blah. And then, no, if you want to pray for someone, pray for them. You don't need to go into detail about their personal life. And okay, wait. First of all, when did it become okay? I can't believe I didn't talk about this earlier. When did it become okay to share people's private text messages? That is never okay. It is okay. The only time, I take that back, the only time it's okay is if it's a life-threatening situation. I can guarantee you 99% of the time it's not. Like, that is not okay. That is a huge violation of privacy. It's just like, you don't want somebody going through your phone randomly, like that doesn't have, most people have, you know, like passwords on their phone, because you don't want people going through your shit. Even if you have nothing to hide, it's still the fact that a boundary has been crossed. Privacy has been violated. When you talk to certain people, you speak to them in different ways, depending on your relationship with them and the context of the setting. Like, certain friends you have certain inside jokes with, and or you've had these deep level conversations where you understand each other on one level, so it's okay to talk about certain things. Or you might talk to your dad different than you talk to your mom, different than you talk to your sibling. That might be different than you talk to your best friend. That might be different than you talk to your child. You might talk to an adult child different than you talk to a 5-year-old child. You might talk to, you know, your boss different than you talk to, like, you know, a coworker. There's different levels, and it's not necessarily being fake or anything like that, but there's different aspects of you, different sides of your personality, different levels of understanding. And not everybody has earned that. Not everybody deserves to know your innermost thoughts and feelings, because they might not understand it, or they might project their own things onto it, or they can like twist the words and fit it to their narrative. And so showing someone else's private messages without their permission is not okay, because you're missing all of that other context. I'm sure you have certain inside jokes with people, or like my ex-husband and I have like this whole dialect we made up of, like, over the last 27 years of knowing each other. We have all these like little inside jokes and words that we use that nobody else is going to understand that shit. So why would somebody, like, if somebody else reads it, they're not going to get it. So it's not okay for you to take somebody else's messages and then take them out of context like that. I have seen this happen so many times lately. Oh, and especially with these toxic group chats. I don't know when. I'm so glad, like, I'm not in these group chats. I only get involved in them like very randomly, if it's like has to do with, you know, a church group, like a Bible study, or like specific events or something, or specific, because people get in these friend groups in WhatsApp and all these things, and then just spread all this crap. It's just crap. I thought people were going to be spreading positivity, but they're not, most of the time anyway. But yeah, people are showing other people, hundreds of people, like, messages that are private between other people. I've seen people in the past month have been posting personal messages from each other on Instagram, on stories on Instagram. And it's like stuff that could ruin the other person's like business that they worked hard for. Like, that's not okay. If you have a personal issue with somebody, take it up with them directly. You don't need to try and ruin their reputation or ruin their business or anything. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Why are you guys doing this? If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. Anyway, so yeah, I realize this rant has gone on too long, but it needs to be said. This generation, I don't know if it's this generation or if it's just South Florida's like this, because when I lived in Tampa, things were not like this. And I don't know what it is. Like, you guys tell me, what is going on with people? Why are they acting like this? This is not okay. Like, we are here, we should be bringing unity. Back to my original point, bringing unity. We are letting the devil win. We are letting the spirit of gossip and the spirit of hatred and all this negativity, fear and anxiety and all this hatred infiltrate our communities. And it's happening in multiple communities. I've seen it happen in the Kava community, in the fire community, in the spiritual community. I've seen it happen so many, like, everybody else is telling me that's happening in their communities. It's not okay. That is letting the enemy win. So if you're still watching this, I appreciate it. I know it's kind of long, but be the change you want to see in the world. Say no to the gossip. And remember, if somebody is gossiping to you, they are also gossiping about you. That person that is hugging you and then telling you gossip about somebody is also hugging you and telling you gossip, or telling other people gossip about you. So that shit needs to end. It needs to end now. And you can make a difference in the world. I hope that this video has made a difference in at least one person's life, and it convinces at least one person to stop the insanity. Stop letting the devil win. Let love and compassion win. I love you all. Have a great day.